Everyone, my name is Zeest, and today I will be talking about one of my all-time favorite movies, Zathura, which is Zathura, a space adventure. So it's clearly about a movie in space, but if you've seen Jumanji, or at least I actually just made a movie review video on Jumanji, so I recommend you check that out as well. But this is actually kind of very similar to Jumanji. So in Jumanji, there's like these two kids, they find a game, and then they get sucked into the game, or the game kind of comes to life. So yeah, and it's in a jungle. So Jumanji is a jungle. Here, this movie is kind of very similar to that. However, this is about space. So Zadora is a board game that these two boys, their brothers, they find. And yeah, they start playing the game. And once they start the game, it brings the game to life. So it's a space adventure. Jumanji was a jungle adventure. This is a space adventure. So since it brings the game is kind of magical and weird, it brings the space stuff around them to life. So their house is actually gets sucked into space, like right here in the movie poster. And yeah, let's just go right in. I remember watching this movie when it came out, and I don't know when it came out, but I was very young. I was like 4, 5, or 5, 6, I don't know. But it was one of my favorite movies. I remember loving it. I used to watch it over and over and over again. I watched it more than Jumanji, and I loved it way more than Jumanji, mostly because of the kids. The kids are very relatable, and it's fun to see how they interact with each other. Okay, so to start off, like I said, there's these two brothers, these two boys, and they have an older sister who's played by Kristen Stewart. If anyone recognizes her, she's the girl from Twilight, and she did a lot of other movies as well. But this is back, like way back when she was much younger. I think she was a teenager, and she plays a teenager in this movie. And she's not really as involved in the beginning parts of it, so you don't really care about her. You're like, oh, they have an older sister, whatever. But it's mostly about the two boys and their relationship. This is their dad. So these two boys fight a lot. You can see like this younger one really looks up to his older brother, and he's constantly trying to get his attention. He's constantly trying to play with him. And the older one is kind of in that age where he wants to watch TV, he wants to hang out with his own friends. And he does not think his younger brother is cool. He does not think his younger brother, deserves his time and attention. He kind of picks on him. He calls him scaredy cat, because the younger one, since he is younger, he's scared of a lot of things that the older one isn't. And so he really picks on him. And you can see that in the beginning of the movie. And so you feel kind of bad for the younger one, and you don't like the older brother. But now rewatching it back, I completely it's like a completely normal dynamic between two siblings. If anyone out there has a brother or sister, that's just how siblings interact sometimes. And so he wants his own space, and the younger one is constantly asking him to play with him. And so here you can see they're kind of in a fight, and they've kind of argued, and they're both kids. So he cries and he cries, and they just both don't like each other that much. You can tell they fight a lot. And here's their dad explaining to them something I don't remember, but yeah. So their dad, kind of goes away for a few hours or a while or a day, I don't remember. And he leaves Lisa, their older sister, in charge of them. And she just has her headphones on. She's in her room, and she's just like sleeping or like chilling in her room all day, like a teenagery stuff. And so the other two kind of, are just in the house alone doing their own thing. But yeah, I spend too much time on that background, but it's very fun and very important to the story to see how their relationship is, because as the movie progresses, you see how the game and the events of the movie kind of bring them together, or kind of bring out the best of their things, and make them understand each other better and things like that. But yeah, so right here is the game that they play. It's called Zathura. This younger one, he finds it in their basement, I think, and he just randomly stumbles upon it and thinks it's really cool, and he doesn't understand how to play it. And you need more than one player in the game. And so he kind of like nudges his brother, and he's like, play with me, play with me, play with me. And the older one just like, he doesn't want to play, doesn't want to play. And so the younger one, he starts the game, I think, by himself, and then just events like unfold, and the older one has to get involved, and they have to start playing this game. But yeah, so what happens after they play the game is that they soon realize that the house is in space. And so, that's when the older one's like, oh my gosh, what did you do? And so they're both kind of angry at each other, and he's getting really defensive, and he's like, no, I didn't do anything. And the older one's like, you always mess things up. And, they just don't know how to handle the situation. They're like, are we really in space? And their house is floating in space. And here you can see the rules of the game are kind of, you can't cheat, you can't skip a turn, you can't do a lot of things. You have to play the game, you have to go by the rules of the game, and the rules are very clearly stated out. But they're kind of trying to go around it and understand things. And then when someone does their turn, you can see he has a card out in front of him, and he's like showing someone. It's like, it tells you, like, it gives you a card when you do your turn and tells you what to do. The card tells you like something's gonna happen, gives you a clue about something. And you'll realize the rules of the game as you watch the movie. But as you can see behind him in this card picture is like a big hole in the wall. So clearly a lot of stuff is happening because of the game. And these are just some random pictures of a lot of events that happen. So this is their older sister. She's frozen over here, and they find her. And then it's really funny how they bring her down the stairs, and they're just like, oh my gosh, she's supposed to be taking care of us. And like, she doesn't even know what's happening most of the time. And then she gets involved later in the second half of the movie. She gets involved, and it's just hilarious, their dynamic, because it's three siblings, and anyone who has siblings knows how funny it is when siblings interact and pick on each other and are arguing with each other. And they, as you can see, there's a monster here, there's like fire in their house, this is a giant robot. So every time they play a turn, something crazy happens. And so that's why they're really afraid to play the game. They don't understand how to get by all these crazy things that are happening to them. And so something that helps them out is this guy right here. One time they do a turn, and someone's turn brings forward this astronaut who randomly comes into their house. And so this astronaut is actually played by a really famous actor. His name is Dax Shepard, and he kind of comes in, and he teaches them how to play this game. So has clearly played this game before, and that's kind of a mystery throughout the game. It's like, who is this guy? How does he know so much about us? How does he know how to play this game very well? And it's similar to Jumanji now, because in Jumanji there were 4 characters. Now there's 4 characters playing the game. And in Jumanji there was like the guy who comes back from, the guy who played the game initially. He was sucked into the jungle, and then someone rolls again, and he comes out and years after. So it's very like, if you know Jumanji, then you're going to see a lot of parallels with this movie. And someone cheats in this, someone cheats in Jumanji, and things like that. So it's very interesting to see how he gets them out of the situation, or how he helps them with events and things like that. And you can see he has like a fascination with this one. It's a fun movie. And it has a lot of little mysteries here and there that you're just like trying to solve with the characters. And you're also trying to understand their relationships. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. And the ending has like a great twist in it. You find out something extremely revealing about the characters, and you're like, oh my gosh, I did not see that coming. And so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's my review of Zathura. I highly recommend watching this movie, and that's it. I hope you all enjoyed as much as I did when I was younger. But yeah, see you next time.